What's up, guys? So there are two Absolute Power tie-ins that come out this Wednesday, July 17th. I got a chance to read both of them over the weekend and just wanted to tell you a little bit about them. The first one is Superman number 16. This is written by Joshua Williamson and the art is by Jamal Campbell. And you guys know that I wasn't super duper crazy about Absolute Power Task Force 7 number 1 that came out last week, but I'm happy to say that both of these books are fantastic. I will go ahead and tell you that we've seen Superman wearing the black suit in some of the Absolute Power promo art, and he gets that suit in this issue. This takes place following the events of Absolute Power number 1, where Superman was shot. We see at the very beginning of this issue, Mr. Terrific and Dr. Midnight working to save him. Now, this story arc features Superman and Zatanna working together, and we see her fighting off a couple of Amanda Waller's goons and then escaping off to the Fortress of Solitude. She tells Superman about these magical pathways called the Dark Roads that she thinks can be used to help get other heroes to the fortress. We also see Jimmy and Livewire and Lena and Lex in Supercorps. They run into some trouble but are saved by a surprising character. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything else, but I will tell you that I thought this was absolutely excellent. I highly recommend this if you are reading Absolute Power. It's just really good, and I think adds some important context to the main story. The next book is Wonder Woman number 11. This is written by Tom King and the art is by Tony Daniel. This takes place before Absolute Power Task Force 7 number 1 that came out last week, but reading this book really helps add context to what happened in that book. I'll go ahead and tell you too that if you have not been reading the Wonder Woman series up to this point, that's okay. This doesn't really mention anything that has happened in this Wonder Woman series so far. This is all about tying in Absolute Power. It doesn't mention anything with the Sovereign or anything else. So if you haven't been reading Wonder Woman, but you are reading Absolute Power, you are perfectly okay to pick this one up and you will understand everything that's going on. In this issue, we see Wonder Woman, John Constantine, Madame Xanadu, Jim Corrigan, Detective Chimp, Billy Batson, and Mary Bromfield all getting attacked by the Amazo robot known as Paradise Lost. There's not a whole lot to say about this issue because the entire thing is those characters fighting Paradise Lost, and it systematically takes them out one at a time. This doesn't really inject a whole lot of extra substance into the main Absolute Power story. It basically just shows what happens to these characters during Absolute Power number 1, but it's still just really good. The art by Tony Daniel is awesome, and there's just a lot of really good action. So even though it doesn't really add much to the story, it's still just a great read. And I will say too that the backup story is not an Absolute Power tie-in. It's just another backup story featuring John and Damian and Trinity. It's written by Tom Taylor and the art is by Belen Ortega. And in this one, the three of them go to a Black Canary concert, but it's very Taylor Swift-esque, and them talking about all the different albums and just the lyrics and trying to find all these clues in the lyrics and things like that. It is really good and extremely funny. So those are your two Absolute Power tie-ins for the week. I would recommend both of them if you're trying to figure out which Absolute Power tie-in books to get. Definitely get both of these if you're able to because they're just really good. So again, these both come out on Wednesday, July 17th. Let me know if you pick them up, and if you do, let me know what you think about them.